Hey, this is Vic and I have been testing the brand new Galaxy Z Flip 6 in the last few days, trying to figure out if the new features make it worth upgrading from last year's Galaxy Flip 5, or if it's not such a big upgrade after all. So let's break down all the new features, and to kick this off, here's how the Flip 6 looks next to the Flip 5. Samsung says the Flip 6 is lighter and more compact than ever before. I'm honestly very confused by this because these two are practically exactly the same in terms of size and there is only a tiny difference in thickness, but honestly imperceptible. So nope, the Flip 6 is not really lighter and not really any more compact either, but I do like the matte finish on the sides and the flatter edges. What the Flip 6 gets, however, is IP48 certification, which is a first for a Samsung flip phone, especially that 4 number, which indicates that we have official protection from foreign objects 1mm or bigger. Some have called this dust resistance, but it really is not, as dust particles are typically finer, but hey, it's good to see Samsung making this step towards that dust proofing in the future. And of course, standard non-flip phones like the Galaxy S24 series have full dust and water protection. The most underrated change in the Flip 6, however, has got to be the display quality. First, that crease in the middle, well, it's almost gone. Almost. Samsung uses nearly 50% thicker cover glass, 50 nanometers on the Flip 6 and 30 nanometers on the Flip 5. So this makes the crease less visible. What has also changed in a big way is the brightness. Both the front screen and the main screen on the Flip 6 are really much easier to use outdoors and much brighter. But the change I am personally most excited about: battery life. The Flip 6 gets a nearly 10% bigger battery this year without a change in the weight. It has a 4000 mAh capacity compared to 3700 mAh on the last year model. So of course we did a bunch of battery testing of our own to find out just exactly what are the numbers and what is the change. So let's take a look. First, we have both phones fully charged up and we kick off our web browsing battery test. It cycles through web pages and scrolls around, and a good score in this test is typically over 16 hours. Now we won't show you the full test run here, it takes a lot of time, but we'll just show you the results. So we skip to the part where the first phone taps out, and that is the Flip 5, which scores 12 hours and 21 minutes. Which is below the average and just not that great. The Flip 6 keeps on running and it finally finishes, and time on the clock is 16 hours and 10 minutes. So it actually scores a bit higher than expected and above the average. That's a pretty good improvement. Next up, we have one more battery test, and this one you can relate to for sure. It's the same YouTube video playlist running on both phones. And of course both are set to the same brightness level for all of our battery testing. Now we again zip forward to the end results, and again the Galaxy Flip 5 finishes first with a result of 7 hours and 13 minutes, which is again a bit less than the average. The Flip 6 still has some juice left, and it finally finishes a while after that with a score of 9 hours and 8 minutes. So once again, we see even bigger improvement than that 10% increase in battery size would suggest. We will be testing the Flip 6 battery life in more detail over the coming days, but these results look very good. And it seems Samsung has finally given us decent battery life on the Flip. A lot of that seems to also come from the more frugal Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip in the Flip 6. So we also wanted to run some performance numbers. In Geekbench 6, which tests CPU performance, the Flip 6 single core result is 2250 points, which is nearly 15% more than the Flip 5. And in multi-core tests, the newer phone scores nearly 40% higher. These are some solid numbers. And the Flip 6 is also the first Galaxy Flip phone with a vapor chamber for cooling. It still throttles for gaming, of course, but it gets much better numbers. On the 3D Mark test for gaming, the initial performance is 22% higher than the Flip 5. But what really counts is the performance after a few minutes after it throttles, and there you see those bigger gains. The Flip 5 throttles a lot more, and the Flip 6 with that vapor chamber, less, and it gets 60% better performance. So gamers might finally consider a flip phone for those improvements. Now, unfortunately, charging speeds have not improved. So the Flip 6 still supports 25 watt max for charging speeds, meaning a full charge takes about 1 hour and a half. Definitely not the fastest charging flip phone in town, and remember that sleek looking Motorola Razr Plus? Well, it actually charges fully in just about 50 minutes, much faster. Now, back to our comparison, both the Flip 6 and the Flip 5 support wireless charging. On the older Flip 5, it took around 2 hours to get a full charge, and since the Flip 6 has the same speed but a slightly bigger battery, it takes just a bit more than 2 hours. Now, you might be wondering about that new 50 megapixel main camera on the Flip 6, and you can see it has a new look too. This is an exciting change, and well, a video about that camera is coming very soon, so subscribe to the channel to not miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.